Hey, Shutter Squad, welcome back to The One Behind the Lens, the podcast where we talk about the stories behind the photographers, the businesses they've built, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Today's guest is a pet photographer, educator, and creative entrepreneur, Jen Hillenga. If you've ever thought about niching down, starting over, or redefining what success actually looks like to you, this conversation is for you. Jen's journey has taken her from portrait photographer to educator, creative director, business owner with $1 million company, and eventually to photographing dogs in New York City. Along the way, she learned some hard lessons about burnout, growth, happiness, and what happens when the business you've built no longer fits the life you want. In this episode, we talk about building a thriving photography business through Instagram, creating an incredible client experience, photographing dogs in one of the busiest cities in the world, and why sometimes the bravest thing you can do is change your mind. Plus, if you've ever wondered how to get a dog to look directly at the camera, Jen is sharing some of her favorite tricks from behind the lens. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get into it. So, Jen, thank you so much for taking the time this morning to be on the One Behind the Lens.
Well, thanks for having me. These are
This is,
always fun.
yeah. I was like, I love chatting with fellow photographers, and especially when we're in different places and different parts of photography as well.
Right. Different parts of the world and different parts of photography.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So Jen, I want for people that don't know you, and I mean, some people just don't might not know like your like origin story, and like most
sure.
people,
My
you've kind
villain
of
story? No.
yeah. So you've kind of had a fascinating path, I feel like, a creative path, portrait photographer, designer, educator, creative director, and now a dog photographer. Can you
Yeah.
just give us like a short version of your creative evolution?
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice way to put it. A creative evolution. I call it, changing my mind 800 times. You call it a creative evolution. That's great. My path has kind of always been art and specifically photography, but I went to school for fine art and graphic design,
Mm,
and I fell into photography um pretty early on. But kind of by accident, I took a summer job as a camera room assistant with a local photographer in my college town. And it was kind of because I didn't have another summer job lined up, and somebody said,
mm,
"Hey, this is available." And I kind of fell into it and loved it, loved photography, um, but thought I wanted to be a graphic designer. And so then I did, my senior year, I did an internship in graphic design, and that was my degree was in that,
mm.
and found out that I kind of hated it.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
Senior year, private school, no big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Take that degree, who cares? The degree has come in handy with my own evolution and marketing and all of that stuff, but I was a graphic designer before I was a photographer. So I went back after graduation, went back to that studio and worked there and then 3 other portrait studios,
Mm,
before leaving and starting my own. So
mm,
before I jumped into having my own business, I had 7 years of experience working for other photographers in studio environments, which enabled me to kind of hit the ground running and kind of start, by not making a lot of the same mistakes that a lot of beginning photography businesses make, because I had been in the industry for nearly a decade when I jumped in on my own responsibility. Uh,
right.
so I was able to come at it from a different place. I was confident in ability, I was confident in pricing, I knew what the market and the industry was all about. So I was able to kind of hit the ground running and kind of jump in and be pretty booked and pretty successful pretty quickly. And because of that, I also started speaking pretty quickly. I think my business was about a year and a half old when I started to educate and speak
Oh, wow.
for PPA, WPPI, all those sorts of things.
Mm,
Because
mhm.
I had also kind of gone along with photographers that I was working for and when they were speaking and teaching. And so I was able to not hit a lot of the pitfalls that a lot of people run into. So part of what I spoke about and taught about was, okay, if you're just getting going, how do you get going quick? How do you get marketing done really quick? How do you not fall into those pitfalls? How do you avoid those mistakes so that you don't have to have those growing pains along the way?
Mm-hmm.
So I did portrait photography in the Midwest. I grew up on a farm in Iowa and then lived in Minneapolis, and that's where I started my first studio, the suburbs. Did portrait photography, so, the typical Midwest portrait world, children, families, high school seniors, weddings. If you're a portrait studio in the Midwest, you kind of take everything.
Mm-hmm.
We're so seasonal there that you kind of don't have much of an option. I mean, people do, but I always used to say, if it has two eyes and moves, I'm going to photograph it. Like,
Oh, I love that. That's great.
take all comers. Like, let's go.
Mhm.
And I kind of had this young idea, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you think about taking over the world and that bigger is better and that you have to grow this thing and, have this Gary V mentality of, exponential growth. And I kind of lost control.
Mm. Mhm.
So I started a secondary company called Jen's Fabulous Stuff back in the day. Some people will know it, some people will not. But it was one of the first companies that did online sales of templates. I did textured overlays, Photoshop actions, and it was kind of one of the first companies that did that.
Okay.
So then I had these two companies. I had my portrait studio with a business partner, and then I had this other company that was this content monster that you just had to keep creating for, that was selling these things all over the world. And so I had a 6,000 square foot studio, 10 employees, and a business partner, and I hated my life.
Mm.
I was praying for rain so I could cancel sessions.
Oh, wow.
I was overwhelmed. I was getting 4 hours of sleep every night, and it was like, okay, by the time we ended it, we were doing over 1,000,000 in sales, but
Mhm.
I wasn't making any more money than when we did 300,000 because I
Mm.
had all this overhead and all these mouths to feed, and I was in my mid-30s, mid to late 30s, and technically single, but I was feeding all these people,
Mhm.
and I had spent my entire late 20s and 30s, making a business, but I hadn't made a life, and I hated it all, and I had a crazy midlife crisis and sold everything and moved to New York. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I know it sounds crazy looking back, like, it organically unfolded, but at the time, I don't know why I wasn't more afraid of it. I think you just kind of reach the end of your rope and I never make a change in my life. I'm a creature of habit and comfort, and I never make a change until the universe is like, "This is what you're doing." And it
Mm.
doesn't kind of give you a choice. My business
Mhm.
partner, who I'm still great friends with, was also kind of at that point where she's like, "I think I'm kind of done."
Mm.
So we sold the internet company, so the template action education company, we sold that to a company in New York,
Mm.
and they kind of bought me with the company, and I became creative director of the lab, the print lab.
Okay, okay.
Um, and so I did that for 6.5 years, and then, it was great in the beginning, and then it just became kind of excuse me, a place I was no longer comfortable being because it was very corporate, and it was like I was so used to, like, if I had an idea or whatever, I could move and make that decision and pivot very quickly. And so kind of at the end, it was now COVID.
Mm, mhm.
It was early 2021, and all of these corporate entities were kind of pushing their employees to their limits and, talking about salaries and, there's the whole quiet quitting and all of that. And I had done a project during COVID with my dogs, and I recreated famous paintings with my dogs. Like,
Okay.
just to keep myself creative. I was
Yeah.
working from home, keep us all entertained. It was early COVID, so it was like, we were all washing down our groceries and, like,
Yes,
afraid to
yes.
go outside, especially in New
Sure.
York, because New York
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
I mean, sirens constantly, the hospital down the street with the trucks and the whole thing, and it was like
Sure,
we were panicking here.
sure.
And it's funny because I would talk to my family back in the Midwest. They're like, "What is it? We're not even like, what?" And I'm just like, "We're crazy in New York." It's like, so everybody has a different viewpoint where they come from in that, but I
Sure,
was
like, they might
trying to.
have a different experience or
Right,
something, yeah.
right, and so I was just trying to find a way to, create joy and be happy and creative while we were stuck in the apartment, and I one morning, I went out and drove my car around the city, and I saw 2 people on bikes and 3 cars in the streets of Manhattan. It
Wow.
was I can't explain, I'm getting goosebumps even now. Anyway, so I kind of did this project with my dogs, and it created such joy in my life, and I was like, "Okay, I think I'm done directing creative, and I need to go back to being a creative."
Mm, mhm.
So I took about 6 months to leave that position, and in the meantime, I started, so it was the beginning of February when I decided this is what I'm doing, and by end of February, I had 2 swipes worth of an Instagram account and 15 sessions booked and was ready to go, and I did it on nights and weekends for about 6 months and then made the transition to full-time. So that was a very long answer of what brought you to dog photography. I warned you, I'm a chatty introvert.
No,
It's
but I
like,
think that's
yeah,
great because no one's your journey wasn't a 30-second journey.
no.
Like, it's a
Yeah.
life, so
This year, in July will be 5 years. I started in
okay.
full, New York COVID still, it was 2021, and so then it'll be 5 years this July. Best decision ever.
Yeah.
Dogs are so much better than people. I have some merch that I've created, and one of the T-shirts says, "I only want a people with dog people." Like, if I
I
could
love
people.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's fun. Dogs are kind of like working with toddlers a little bit.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
little bit like, um, the psychology of working with children, but there definitely is a psychology behind it, and but they never like dogs rarely have a bad day unless you get like a traumatized rescue dogs, but usually they're
Sure.
just happy to be there. They're just here for the treats and the fun. They're just like chill. Dog
Yes.
people have a tendency to be chill, like, they just want a great photo of them with their dog and their dog alone, and they're just happy to be here, and it just, like, takes all the stress out of everything, and then I swore to myself that if I did this again, I was gonna do it differently.
Okay.
So, I have 1 friend/employee that does about, give or take, 5 hours a week to do my shipping, and I
Mm.
do everything else on my own.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I don't think now, who knows what the evolution will be, but I don't think I ever want that to change because I'm done creating jobs for other people and like, I don't need to build this into a franchise or anything like that. have reached a point and an age in my life where my ideas about what success looks like have changed,
Mhm.
and balance and contentment and joy have become a much bigger part of that.
Mm. Mhm. Well, and I love too because I feel like having you had 10 employees and all of that and going, where you're having kind of one.
Mhm.
Um, and you were talking about how you couldn't sleep and the stress and everything prior to that. I mean, I can't imagine wanting to go back to that.
Oh
You
gosh,
already
no.
lived it.
And I did have, at the time you look at it kind of like a struggle, but now I look at it like lessons of
Mhm.
doing kind of every kind of photography studio that you can do. Like when I started, I was fully on location, and then we were home-based studio, and then we had 3 different retail spaces, and everything that could have happened to those retail spaces happened. Like, I had a truck run through a wall of one of my studios. Like,
Oh my gosh.
on the outside looking in, you're like, "Your life is crazy." On
Yeah.
the inside looking out, I'm like, "My life is boring. I stay home with my dogs." And then it's just like, you know. But,
Sure.
like, we had flooding, we got hit by lightning, we had, a contractor who, didn't pay, and there were liens on the property, and there were just a million different things that could have happened, which each one was the universe saying, "You're done with this place, you need to move on, and I know you won't do it unless I force you to do it." So,
Sure.
and then, then the big space, and then kind of this is starting all over again, and I did
Mm.
this business very slowly of, it was COVID, so everything was outdoor, on location, and then several years in, I went into a studio space in addition, just to have it for reactive dogs or people that were looking for a studio,
Sure.
environment, kinda classic photo.
Mhm.
But I was sharing a studio space with a bunch of other amazing photographers, and then this last year, I photographed a New York City dog influencer, in studio, and it kinda went nuts. So my studio,
Mm.
requests, like, tripled, and so just this April, I decided to just do my own studio space again, not share it because I was having a hard time fitting in everything that I needed to
Oh.
fit in with sharing it with other photographers. And then I signed that lease on, February 13th, and then, directly broke my ankle on February 14th and
Oh my gosh.
was out of work for 12 weeks. So
Oh my
that's
gosh.
fun.
So did you break your ankle, like, on like, were you, like, walking on the street, or
Yeah.
how did it yeah.
I was taking my dog to the vet.
Oh, shoot.
In Brooklyn, all of the little shops have, like, these, metal doors that go down to the basements of, and
Yes.
the one at my vet is at an angle. And we had so much snow this year, and it was melting off the roof, and so that metal door was wet. And I stepped on it, and my one foot slipped, and I fell on my other, and it was full
Oh.
surgery. It was terrible. Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Don't do that.
Gosh.
That's
Don't
not
do that,
great
no.
for self-employed in New York on a walk-up apartment with 2 big dogs. Don't do that.
Oh gosh, yeah, don't
Yeah,
do that.
don't do
Don't do
that.
that.
0 stars, would not recommend.
Yeah.
No, no.
So, I'm guessing you live in Brooklyn.
I do, yes.
Is your studio space in Brooklyn, or is it in
It is.
Manhattan? Mm,
It was in Midtown when I was sharing, and now I moved, closer to home. So the great
nice.
thing is it's in a very cute, like, I live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and the studio's in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Oh,
It's, like,
nice.
dog central. It's above a very Instagrammable little brewery,
Oh,
and it
perfect.
is a 7-minute trip from my apartment to my studio now. So that is great. And
Yeah,
I can do all sorts of things that I couldn't do when I was sharing the space. So I'm currently doing this insane vintage background with insane florals, but I couldn't l- create something creative like that and leave it up
sure.
because I was sharing the space. I'd have to put it up, take it down, put it up, take it
Mhm.
down.
Mhm.
And so everything had to be limited edition, which is great for urgency with your clients, but I wasn't able to really, like, kind of dig in and be super creative. So I was getting a little bit bored. So,
Right. No, that makes sense.
yeah.
And you said that most right now is you're doing, like, in studio. Do you have or are you kinda half
It's
and half?
really about, it's still about well, currently right now I'm doing more studio because I had that set up and I had a broken ankle, so I was leaning into studio sessions a little bit, so I
Sure.
did traipse around New York. But usually it's still about a 70-30 split location around New York City,
Okay, okay.
because that's, the New York City's the best canvas.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
you want that iconic, like,
Right. It
background.
really depends on the client, the dog, what they're looking for, what's gonna be the best environment, whether or not I'm running, uh, a special kind of thing. It
Mhm.
really all depends, but also, seasonal. Like, in the summer, in July and August, it is super hot, and, you don't necessarily take those things into consideration, but when you're photographing dogs, if it's
Yeah.
anything over, like, 84 degrees, it's just gonna be all tongue, and it's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
it's just no,
Right,
no.
right. And you probably did you, like, learn that? Like, were you like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, we shouldn't be sh"
Yeah, it either has to be really early in the morning before it gets too hot, or in studio because the dogs are just, they just don't handle heat well. It depends on the dogs. And then in winter, January, February, also more studio work.
Sure.
So it is a bit seasonal. Spring and fall in New York is the best on the planet anywhere.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
I don't know that I could live anywhere else, especially in the US, but once New York spoils you for
It
living
does. It
anywhere else.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
this is the center of the universe. How could I possibly live in any other place?
Sure.
It'll
Yeah.
try to kill you before
Yeah,
it
yeah.
gives you the world. Like New York, if the stereotype is true. Like, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere because it's not easy,
Mhm.
but it's wonderful if you
Mhm.
can make it.
Yes.
I know that sounds like cliche, but, like, people don't really understand until you've been in it, how much it will break you and then how much it will gift you everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's a beast.
Yes. Yes. So kinda when you were talking about dog owners and, like, what they want and all of that and the dog, do
Mhm.
you do, do you get, like, a questionnaire to people, or do you guys do a Zoom call, or do you meet, like,
I do a
before the
very
session?
quick phone consultation with every
Okay.
client. So when people I built the business mostly on Instagram.
Okay.
And we can talk about how I got busy, how it was built, all of those fun things. But mostly people find me on Instagram, and then there is an intake form that I have in my Instagram bio that is basically my contact on, the website, which shoots me an email, and then I send them an email back that says, "Oh my gosh, I would love to photograph your dog." And gives them a few helpful links. And it's an automated email, but it links them to the products and the pricing that is on my website because I just am too busy to deal with anybody who, like, let's just pre qualify you. If
Mhm.
this is
Mhm.
not something that you can afford or want to commit to, we don't need to go further. We don't need
Right.
to talk about it.
Mhm.
I know there's a lot of photographers that like want to, form a relationship before they talk pricing, and which is great. I just have too many inquiries to be able, and because I wanna, like, just do everything myself, I just need to, like, keep a hold of my time. So,
Sure.
I pre-qualify people by showing them,
Mhm.
what the commitment is, and then I have them do a consultation appointment via Calendly, and then it's a very quick phone call, and
Mm.
it is just, "Tell me all about your dog. Is there anything I need to know about how to approach your dog? Do they have, are they happy? Are they treat motivated? Do they love a ball? Are they aggressive?" Because I will still photograph aggressive dogs. It just
Mm.
means I have to love them from a distance.
Sure. And
Um,
just know that so
yeah,
that, yeah,
I
you're
just need to know
prepared.
who your dog is so that I know how to approach.
Mhm.
And, like, does your dog have any allergies? Can they eat my treats? Do you bring your own? That sort of thing.
Mm.
What are you looking for? What do you want the session to be? Do you want it to be location, studio? I always tell people, I want to photograph your life with your dog, who you are now.
Mm.
And then I will tell them you don't have a choice. You will be in some photos.
Mm, mhm.
Um, because and I say that and rarely, but sometimes people give me, "Oh, no, it's about the dog, I don't wanna be any." I'm like, "Unfortunately, you don't have a choice. You
Right.
do have a choice in whether you purchase those images, but I want you to be camera ready because 'cause I'm gonna make you be in some."
Mm,
Because
mhm.
if you're anything like me, your phone is just filled with pictures of your dogs, but you're not in any good ones.
Sure.
Same thing can be said towards children,
Yes,
or
yes.
whatever, but, be in the photos, and
Mhm.
you know, I hate to, like, lean in on, sad, unhappy things, but I'll say, honestly, in 10 to 15 years, I want there to exist an amazing photo of you with this dog.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh my god, okay."
Yeah, yeah. That's how I wanna be too.
Right. So we do have that phone call, and then, we will set up the session on that call and pay the session fee right then and there.
Nice.
98% of the time, we will do it on that call.
Okay.
It's very rare that we go through that call and we talk about all those things and somebody's like, "I need to think about it," because they've already
Mhm.
seen the pricing, they've already
Right.
kind of, like, emotionally committed to the process. So it's rare that I don't close the session on that call.
Mm.
The sessions then, depending on where we go, what we do, who the dog is, take about an hour, give or take. And that is the attention span of dogs, husbands, or toddlers.
Yeah, yes.
No. And especially with dogs, like everything is kind of condensed into you don't really have the opportunity to very often hold a pose, hold attention. You have to be very quick. You have
Mhm.
to keep moving or the dog will just lose attention span and just be done. So the
Mhm.
session takes about an hour, give or take, 45 minutes to an hour and 15, depending on everything. And then about 5 to 7 days after the session, I do all of my sales on Zoom. There are no galleries. There are no exceptions. The only exception is like my holiday mini sessions will do galleries.
Okay.
Those are a different thing. I only do limited edition mini sessions when I am not busy doing anything else.
Mm, mhm.
Um, so I only do it in slow times. The holiday stuff doesn't start until December 1st because all of my fall clients, their orders are done. Everything needs to be ordered and into the lab by December 1st to get it back for holidays. So
Mm, mhm.
then it's just a matter of, okay, I can do 2 weeks of minis before Christmas and just do an online gallery and people can fulfill that way and I don't have to deal with any of it. It's the
Oh,
only
sure.
reason I do a gallery or not a guided Zoom sale.
Mm.
So we will get on Zoom. I show a slideshow of everything. We do a first round of edit, culling, I should say. And we usually get it down about half. And then I'll stop the screen share and go through the different products and show them samples on Zoom. Here's what an album looks like. Even though they've seen the pricing guide on the website, sometimes it doesn't translate until we get
Sure.
in Zoom and can like see products. And so we'll go through all of that because that will help me to know how far are we narrowing down. What are you doing? Because if you're doing an album, I only have to narrow down to, 25 to 40 images, um, which they will see about 40 to 60 from their session.
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
and then if you're narrowing down to just like a collage frame and a couple of other digitals and whatever, then I know, okay, are we working with 10 images or are we working with 30 images?
Sure.
So I kind of pause in the middle to figure out the direction. I kind of can't do it at the beginning because they're overwhelmed. We need to get it into a kind of a manageable number. I don't offer any pickups or deliveries. Everything is shipped with a shipping fee. I used to
Okay.
have people come pick up, and then I figured out I had to be tied to my apartment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I, it's just going to be inconvenient to go back and forth. I looked at where do I have bottlenecks? I had bottlenecks of going back and forth in email with trying to set up a time to talk to people. So I'm like, nope, Calendly links. This is when I will do calls.
Mhm.
And, I scheduled those, and then I would have back and forth on email with, "Can I pick up? Will you deliver?" I don't know. I don't wanna pay for shipping. It's no longer an option
Mm,
because
mhm.
every time we go back and forth on an email or every time I sit at my apartment waiting for you, that is money I'm spending in time.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
nope, you're gonna pay me a flat fee. It's gonna even out. Sometimes it's less than what it should be, sometimes it's more. Everybody's a
Mhm.
flat shipping fee and it all evens out and we just send you and I just don't even give people an option. I just when we're doing the order I say, "Okay, with tax and shipping this is your total and we'll send you a tracking number when it ships."
Oh,
And that's
perfect.
it.
Yeah.
There's no options.
Yeah, and I don't think people sometimes I don't think not I mean, some people do, but I don't think people understand that, like, the time. Like, you
Oh, yeah.
sitting at your apartment waiting where you could be photographing or doing whatever you'd
Editing or
like.
living or
Yeah.
being in my life and
Yeah.
like then with New York City Transit, it's like I got stuck in traffic. The trains aren't running. If something came up and now the L is stopped and I
Yeah.
no.
No.
Absolutely not. And I have
Well, and I feel like I wouldn't want like, time on the train, if I'm getting something, like, large for my wall or something like that, I don't wanna bring that on the train. I don't wanna be
Oh,
lugging
you
that
would
around New
be
York either.
surprised. New Yorkers will get a couch off the curb and take it 4 boroughs away
I
if
mean
it can save them $30. What?
yeah,
I
yeah,
am at the ripe old age that I will throw money at a problem, and therefore, I expect you to do the same. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
nope, I go back to that line in the last season of White Lotus where she says, "I just think at this age, I'm not meant to live an uncomfortable life." I'm like, "Girl,
You're
preach."
like,
Yes,
same.
absolutely the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
And
Oh, that's
I
funny.
I turned 50 in January, and my give a F is completely broken.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of things that I'm just like, "Nope, this is how it is." And I feel like your clients are kind of like they will fall in line. If these are your
Yeah.
policies and this is they want what you have, and if
Yes.
they don't, great. There's an entire line of people waiting to do the same thing that will do whatever you wanna do.
Yeah.
So,
And I feel like since you're not giving like, say, going about the shipping, if you're not giving them an option, like, if
nope,
you're just like, "This is how it is," then they're
correct.
just like, "Oh, this is how it is."
Right.
Like, I guess,
And I'm
that's
happy to make people happy, but I'm not happy to inconvenience myself to convenience someone else.
mhm. Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
too old.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope, totally
Not
get
gonna
it.
do anything I don't wanna do anymore.
Hey, Shutter Squad, here's a quick recommendation from Gizmo. If you've been around here for a while, you know Gizmo is pretty much my sidekick. And if you're a fellow dog parent, you also know how hard it can be to find a food your dog actually loves. We recently switched Gizmo to Sundays for Dogs, and he is obsessed. I love that it's made with real ingredients, it's air dried, and it's incredibly easy to serve. The best part? Mealtime has become the highlight of Gizmo's day. The second he hears the bag open, he's ready. If you've been thinking about trying a new food for your dog, I've included a link in the show notes where you can get $50 off your first order of Sundays. Now, let's get back to today's episode. Going back to like when you go, like when you're on the Zoom or the call, I guess, talking and deciding if the client decides like, yes, I'm gonna book this. Have you ever actually been on a call where you're like, I don't think this is the right fit?
There have been calls where I'm like, "Oof, I'm not gonna love this." But there haven't been calls where I've felt that to an extent that I've said no, uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
in dog photography.
Okay.
In my past life, I have said no to clients, especially weddings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I am currently looking at kind of the time commitment to a dog.
Mhm.
Like, it's 45 minutes out of my life, and I'm
Sure.
mostly working with the dog, who's not gonna
Y
annoy me.
right.
The person
Right.
might annoy me. Um, I also have changed my ideas of the metrics for success.
Okay.
And I think that translates into what we're talking about right here. So, and I basically have started over, right?
Mm.
And I've changed my mindset along the way, my relationship to money, my relationship to success, my relationship to inconvenience, my relationship to how I'm doing business, growth, prosperity, like all of those things has changed,
Mhm.
and has loosened up a bit. I still am I'm still a hustler. Like, I still will, like, hit the ground running and make it happen and all of those things, but I look at things a little bit differently. So even if I get a customer on the phone, and mostly it's because my why has changed, like, why I'm doing this has changed.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so even if I get a customer on the phone that I can kinda tell, you know, psychologically that they're just not gonna be somebody who spends a lot of money, I kinda don't care,
Mhm. Mhm.
because every session has multiple metrics for success, right?
Mhm.
So, sometimes it's the sale, sometimes it's just, I'm fairly new business and I need content.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's somebody who appreciates you and really wants it, but can't necessarily afford a lot. But that person might love you and repost and tell all their dog friends. And I I no longer care whether a client spends $300 or $10,000.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
it's an interesting thing to say that and truly 100% mean it. Now,
Mhm.
occasionally, I'll be a little disappointed and be like, "Gosh, I wish they had gotten more because I loved the session," or
Oh,
whatever,
sure.
but there's a level of understanding and a faith in life and the universe that everything works out as it should, and that session might be, get a ton of likes and a lot of traction on social media, or it might get a lot of, other people to come, like whatever. I just no longer worry about the end dollar sign,
Mhm.
because I really have come to a point of I'm very content and I'm living a life in New York that is fulfilling and I'm making enough to be able to sustain the life that I like. Um and you always want to be able to save and eventually retire and those sorts of things, but I have changed my relationship with all of that. So I'm
Mm.
the only time I think I would ever say no is if anybody was clearly rude or clearly differentiated in terms of like how they treated animals or ethics or morals or something along those lines. But I don't really, if you can't afford me, it's
Mhm.
fine. There are different ways. And if I were on a conversation where they actually said, oh my gosh, my budget's like 150, 200, that sort of thing, I'll be like, well, the session is 150 or 200. So maybe it's a better fit that you try one of my mini session opportunities that are several times a year where it is less of a session fee. You'll get one or two images and then it's a reduced rate. So I might
Mhm.
steer somebody into something different if they really, but it's rare that that happens, especially
Mm.
in New York. Like, anybody here, it's kind of a general pre-qualifier. If somebody is calling in New York for
Mhm.
professional photos of their dog,
Mhm.
chances are they're gonna be at least a decent sale.
Yeah.
Like, you can't afford to live here and have a dog
Right.
if you're not able to afford a certain level. It is a little bit of a different geographical, socioeconomic bubble.
Mhm. Mhm. Going back to, like, the session, I have a like, to when you're photographing a dog, a couple of questions.
Mhm.
So, I saw, like, on the in PPA.com, like, you loved, like or you use, like, a wildlife sounds and squeaky toy toolkit. What are your, like, go-to tricks?
So before you even get to photographing, it's important to establish a relationship with the dog. If you just go in and point this thing at their head that's sometimes bigger than they are, point the camera at them, they're like, what is this machine? Why are you in my space? What is happening? So it's really important that you have that conversation before you go into the session. And then I always try, if possible, to start with treats. So I won't do treats throughout the session unless I really, really need to, but that is rare.
Mhm.
So I always tell the person, the human, like, bring your dog's favorite treats, the high value stuff that makes them lose their mind. Yesterday's session was interesting. She brought a raw heart in a
Oh,
baggie, and I was like,
wow.
oh, gross. This is real. And we were at this incredible location, and there was, like, this little concrete window, and she put the bag of treats on the window. I'm like, "Do not forget that when we leave, or tonight's news will be like, a body part, heart found at
Yes.
this," like, I'm just like, "Oh my god, I can imagine." So, and I'm never quite sure what they're gonna bring, but I asked the owner to bring treats, and I will sit down and get on the dog's level and run kind of through what that dog is able to do for treats. It
Mm,
establishes that I am the source of good things and that they need to listen to me.
mm,
The hardest part for the humans is don't help me, don't pay
mhm,
attention, don't talk to your dog, don't give them any commands, don't tell them what to do. So
mhm,
I will say that before we get started of that's going to be the hardest part for you. I will ask you if I need your help, but your
mm.
job is to ignore your dog unless I need you to pay attention, because otherwise it's so crazy how people like the common sense of it is lacking, but they'll be holding the dog's leash, standing over the dog and pointing at me and saying, "Look at the camera. Hey, buddy, look at the." I'm like, "How is that working?" Like,
No.
That's not working. Okay, I will do all the work. So I established that relationship of I'm the source of good things. I have the treats. It allows me to see how good is the dog's sit and stay commands. Will they do it down? Will they do paw? Like, what is their level of training? So I'm just
Mm,
taking, 3 minutes to establish a relationship with that dog before we start anything. And
mhm.
then the combination of a camera that has animal eye focus. So I'm shooting Sony.
Okay,
So I
okay.
never miss focus because it locks onto that animal's eyes
Oh,
all the
wow.
time.
Okay.
And then, the combination of that with this lanyard of noisemakers. So they are wildlife noises. So there's the important thing for me is I don't have a favorite, I have a lot.
Okay.
So I have like 8 different noises that I wear around my neck because any of those noises is gonna work for about 5 photos, and then it's over, and
Sure,
they're
then
like,
it's yeah.
"Oh, that noise was interesting," and then it's like, "Oh, that noise means nothing."
Mm,
So
mhm.
it's like this constant changing of the tactics, so if you just
Mm.
walk around with a dog for an hour and you're like, "Buddy, buddy, buddy," pretty soon that dog is like, "What?
Yeah.
This means nothing. I don't even need to look at you." Like, so you constantly have to change up your tactic
Mm.
to get attention. I probably most often will pay the dog in a treat occasionally, but if you do treats too much, then I call it treat face, where the dog is just like, "Oh my god, a treat, a treat, a treat, a treat," and that's all they'll look at.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
and it's not a relaxed face, it's too stressed. It's like,
Mm.
"Oh my gosh." So, I don't want them to have treat face. It's a whole process.
Yeah. It is, it is. I was gonna say, that would I mean, I can see why it's only, like, an hour session because that would be
Right.
a
And by
lot.
every client at the end, they'll get home and they'll text me and they'll be like, "I don't think my dog has ever had this big of a nap." I'm like, "I know, it's a lot." Because the mental engagement of it is
Mm.
more tiring than like a 5-mile hike for them.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, we put them through the ringer.
Yeah. And I'm wondering because with all the sounds, because 'cause I'm thinking when you're on location in New York, like, there's all the sounds anywhere
Right.
you are. Um, have you ever had a problem with that where the
It's
distraction of
rare. It's rare for once we get to the location, occasionally we'll have Central Park squirrels or a random
mhm.
rat. I mean, let's be honest,
Sure.
it's New
Yeah,
York.
yeah.
So, occasionally something will come up. But these are New York City dogs. So
Sure.
they are
So they're
used to
used to it.
being, out in the streets and out in the parks. And, this is not new for them usually, unless somebody's traveling in.
Mhm.
But that again is something important to ask during the consult call. Like, is your dog easily distracted? Do you need this to be in a neighborhood that's quieter? Like maybe some cobblestone streets and meat packing where we're really not going to see much except maybe an occasional car.
Mm,
Or
mhm.
are they cool with being in Central Park with lots of distractions? Like, what is their level of distractedness? So that's
Right,
again, set yourself up for success of figuring out what kind of animal are you photographing and don't do it in a place where it's just you're not going to get what you need.
right. Yeah, yeah. Well, and I guess that's great with the having that consult and just knowing
Yeah.
all of that.
But asking the right questions and knowing what am I photographing? What is this animal like? Tell me about their personality and knowing to ask, are they easily distracted? Do they go crazy for squirrels? What were to happen? How are they with other dogs? How
Right.
are they with people? How are they with traffic? Are they, distracted by loud noises? Are they skittish? Like just
Yeah.
mhm.
That's the one I would wonder about, like, the skittish, because even if you are a New York dog, like, you could still be a little bit of a
It's rare. It's mostly newly rescued dogs that have those issues.
Mm.
I work with a lot of rescues. One of the main rescues I work with is called Korean Canine, and they actually rescue dogs from the Korean dog meat trade
Oh,
and bring them to the US. So those dogs are basically raised as livestock
okay.
and then have very little human interaction and then are brought here and adopted. And so sometimes they need more rehab, and depending on how long the person has had that dog, um, and there's the rescue rule of 3, like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months to fully decompress and come out of their shell and show you with their personality. So I am always a little bit like, how long have you had your dog? What is your dog's age? And, again, leaning into asking all the right questions.
Right, right.
Mhm.
No, that makes sense. And you said that you work with a lot of rescues. Are you photographing for rescues? Like, I know that you're
A bit.
okay.
I did more of that when I was first getting started,
Mm.
for several reasons, and I still have about 3 or 4 rescues that I work with. I did a few different things, and it really did, translate into a lot of my base market and getting booked early on because people wanna do business with people that have the same passions as they do and that are giving back to those same loved communities.
Mm.
So, I worked with several different rescues doing several things, either photographing adoptable dogs, but really doing fundraising photo booths at their
Oh,
events.
sure.
So sometimes it's a rescue or it's an adoption event.
Mhm.
Sometimes like Korean Canine and some of the others have summer block parties where they
Okay.
have other dog vendors, and I would set up an outdoor photo booth with a tent, and I would charge anywhere between 25 and $50. You can come and have a photo done on a background outside with your dog, and then the rescue got all of that as a donation.
Mhm.
I got the email addresses.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So, it was a win-win. People
Yeah.
got to see me working with dogs, and it would often translate into, "Oh, let's do this for real.
Mhm.
You're great with my
Mhm.
dog. I love this random photo that we got on the street. Now let's get some real, a real experience." And then I would get, email addresses. Now, I've never actually sent an email with all of these email addresses, but it's with the mindset of I have it if I needed to.
Sure.
So if for some reason I needed to pull that lever and send out an email blast, or if for some reason my knock on wood, my Instagram got hacked and I lost those followers, I would have a backup. It's not all my eggs in one basket. So I
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
several thousand emails that I could do a different marketing tactic to if I needed to. So there was
Mhm.
value in having it, even
Mhm.
if I wasn't really using it.
Right. Right. It's interesting that you are able to just market on Instagram,
Mhm.
that you don't have to do all the
And
things.
I know that that's special and that's regional. It's one of the
Mhm.
beautiful things of living in New York. There are
Mhm.
millions of dogs in this city. And my clientele is basically from 30 to 45.
Okay.
Um, and it's mostly women. And it's mostly millennials that are on Instagram.
Mhm.
And it is, in New York, people's dogs are their kids. Usually, if you have kids, you move further out from the city. Not
Mhm.
all the time, but a lot.
Sure.
So, it's usually people with their dog is considered their kid. They're millennials who can afford a dog but can't afford children or a house or anything like that. And they're active on Instagram and they're locked in. Dog world in New York is insane. And it is like this interconnected community. And so I only have just under 15,000 Instagram followers, but
Okay.
those are all super engaged um dog owners in New York for the most part. There's a smattering of pet photographers kind of
Oh, sure, sure.
followers too, but mostly it is dog owning millennials.
Mm.
And so, like, I'll put up a model call if I wanna try a new location or if I wanna, I have a setup in the studio that I need to put a model on to get images for marketing or whatever. I'll put up a model call. It'll fill in less than 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Uh, Overkill. So, I just put up a session yesterday, but I did a model call for a specific new location that had just opened up that I wanted to photograph, and I had specific breeds and size that I wanted to
Mm.
photograph
Mhm.
in this spot. I put
Mhm.
up a model call and I booked 8 sessions in about an hour and a half, and then I locked it down.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
it's like I can pull a lever at any time, and I don't even make a post about it anymore. I put it in stories. That's it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I just put it in stories and it fills, and then the next story is I close it down, and it's usually less than 10 minutes.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Also, I am very aware of how special it is to be a photographer in this very niche um genre in New York City. Like it's a very niched thing. But New York is also the home of all of the Instagram influencers,
Mhm.
and I have several clients that their dog's Instagram account has 500,000 followers.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
So I will do a lot. Some of those will do sessions a couple of times a year and they'll do giveaways, and their followers have to follow me in order to get a giveaway, that sort of thing. So I know that I'm in a unique position in being in New York. This does not necessarily work as easily in a smaller market that's not as
Mhm.
dog heavy.
Mhm.
Um, but it just allows me to only lean on that lever currently.
Mm. Mhm.
Sometimes I do other things. Like I said, there's the rescue stuff that I'll lean into, but um for the most part, I've built enough of a following. But social media is interesting because you need to be social, right? Like,
Mhm.
what's interesting about photographing dogs and building this business is this is actually the easiest one I've ever built.
Wow.
Because any other genre of photography, people aren't looking for you until they need you, right?
Oh, sure.
So,
Yeah.
like, you're not looking for a newborn photographer until you're pregnant. You're not looking
Mhm.
for a wedding photographer until you're engaged. You're not looking for high school seniors until your kid's a sophomore, junior. You're not looking for a photographer actively. I
Mhm.
have a bunch of followers who are just here for the dogs. They follow along, and I talk about my sessions, and I talk about who the dog is, not who I am, and not what they're gonna buy, and not that we're gonna decorate their home, and not what I can do for you. It's about the dog. So
Mm.
I'm being social about, "Look at this floof. This floof is the derpiest floof that's ever derped." Like, the whatever,
Sure,
and
sure.
talking about dogs. People just wanna look at joy these days.
Mhm.
They just
Mhm.
wanna, like, they're here for the dogs. And
Mhm.
so I just the following and the engagement has been very easy,
Mhm.
to build because I'm just talking about dogs
Mhm.
and about 4 cats.
I was gonna say, do you do anything like, have you done well, cats and anything
Mhm.
else?
Yes, and my answer to that when anybody asks is yes, but.
Mm. Mhm.
So I try to establish, pretty early that I will do it, I guarantee nothing.
Sure.
Um, I've not yet, and I'll say that, I've not yet met a cat that I wasn't able to capture, but the term herding cats exists for a reason.
Right,
Like,
right.
I don't care how friendly your cat is at home. If you
Mhm.
bring it to the studio and I have the lights and the camera and all the things, it's gonna think I'm there to murder it.
Right.
Even if I come to your apartment, it's like, that camera is bigger than the cat. Like,
Mhm.
cats just take much longer to warm up, so it's the sessions are twice as long for half the results.
Right.
I guarantee nothing. There are photographers out there that specialize in cats. God
Wow.
bless, because
Yeah.
no.
Mhm.
I love a cat to just hang
Mhm.
on your couch and have this cat wanna be pet, but to photograph a cat is work.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
can
they're not
imagine.
just happy to be there and easily swayed with treats and noises. They're like, "A
Mhm.
noise? I think not, I'll be under the couch."
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, "Treats? Maybe." I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a whole different experience. So I photographed cats, I've photographed, um, lizards, I have
Oh.
photographed guinea pigs are easy. Guinea pigs just sit there and go, so do rabbits, that's it. They just sit there and they just chew on their face. That's it. Rabbits and guinea pigs are easy. Cats are terrible. Said with love, but oof.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
So is the best way, like, for people to find you, that's gonna be Instagram. Just go
yeah,
to Instagram to
yeah,
find you
yeah,
and look at the links,
yeah.
any of that.
I do have a Facebook group,
Okay.
for pet photographers. It's called, Pet Portrait Pros.
Okay.
It is a small group. It is a very slow group. We're not that active, but I do post on there any new idea I have or anything I'm currently doing in marketing. You're welcome to make it a much busier group and ask
Sure.
questions and bring me your issues. I always try to answer, and but It's not very active, but if you want it to be, I'd be happy to have you.
To have yeah,
Yeah.
have a little action in there.
Yeah, I think I started it after, like, I spoke at imaging a couple of times, which I will be at imaging again this next year. I
Oh,
That's
okay.
not common knowledge yet, but but it's happening.
But it's
Um,
happening.
yeah,
Yay.
I don't think we've announced anything, but maybe by the time this airs, I don't know. So 2027, I'll be at imaging
Okay,
doing some hands-on, pre-con classes.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you do any other types of education?
Yeah, occasionally I will do a New York City workshop.
Okay.
Um, I It's a matter of, will I get my shit together? Will I get my stuff together and get it done? Because again, I'm doing everything on my own. But now that
Mhm.
I have my own space, I think those will happen more frequently. I can
Mm,
also do, I do mentoring.
m'kay.
So we can do Zoom mentoring, you can do in person. So you can come to New York and spend a day and take a trip, and we can photograph dogs in Central Park and then have lunch and talk about what you need to do for your business. Or we can do everything over Zoom calls. I
Okay.
links to all of that on the website.
Nice.
You can
Okay.
check it out.
Okay, perfect. So before we wrap up, I do a little section, I guess, of I love doing a rapid fire.
Oh, okay, great.
So we'll do a few of
I'm not sure if
those.
I can rapidly answer
Rapid.
anything. Every answer to every question has been like, "Well, let me tell you where I was born and where I am now at 50." Like, it I yeah, keeping it short will be
Well,
interesting. Let's
yeah,
try a rapid fire.
we'll try it. We'll
We'll
try it.
try it. See what happens.
Okay, so coffee or tea,
Coffee.
early morning sessions or a golden hour.
Mid-morning, which is
Mhm.
weird. Uh, Based on dogs, 10 AM is my sweet spot because it
Oh.
is after off-leash hours, but before New York
Oh.
gets stupid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
off-leash hours usually in every park end at 9 AM, but it takes New Yorkers an extra half an hour to abide by any rules. So, if you
Mhm.
try to go to the park in off-leash hours, you'll just have 300 dogs coming to say hi because you're making all the noises.
Right,
And it's
right.
like the Pied Piper of just like all the dogs. And so usually my sessions are 10 AM. Usually dogs are always on leash and I Photoshop it out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I would probably would rather do that
I
as
don't wanna
well.
risk safety. I've had a couple of
Yeah.
nightmares where I've told people to keep them on leash and they're like, "My dog is fine." And
Fine.
then they take off and chase horses through the
Oh.
park.
Oh gosh.
It's a nightmare. So,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, no.
Mhm.
Favorite New York shoot location?
Oh god,
I know that
the
would be
whole
hard.
city.
Right.
Um, it's crazy because some of the locations that are other people like, clients' favorite, like Central Park, it always works,
Mhm.
but I'm there probably 3 to 5 times a week.
Mhm.
My newest obsession has only been open for a couple of weeks. That's the pavilion at Wagner Park by Battery Park. It's this insane architectural building I just posted.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
Soho.
Okay, yeah. I could see that.
Soho has that epic New York quality, but if you're there during the week at 10 AM in the morning, super quiet,
Mhm.
nobody around.
Yeah.
Yeah, cobblestones, the old buildings, so it feels old New York.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
One lens you could never give up.
Oh, probably the 70 to 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the workhorse.
Mhm.
I love my 85 shallow depth of field stuff. The newest Sony one that I've been playing around with a lot, which is super versatile, is the 50 to 150 2.8.
Oh, interesting.
That's new and it's fun
Hmm.
because you can kind of just take one lens.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that
Yeah.
does sound like a one lens.
Yeah, and so I don't use a regular camera bag in New York because I don't wanna take a lot of gear walking around the city,
Sure.
and I don't wanna look like I have gear walking. So
Mhm,
I have
mhm.
a crossbody, just a sling bag, and I
Okay,
take my camera and 2 lenses, and that's it.
okay.
Um, And I'm also the laziest photographer on the planet. I don't use any reflectors or lights. I'd have to have somebody else with me. It's all gonna freak out a dog anyway.
Yeah.
So I just find or, find the light or move into a spot where the light is good. Light is a little bit more forgiving on dogs, so you can put them
Mhm.
in full sun and they're not gonna squint and they don't have
Sure.
eye sockets, that sort of thing. Just position them correctly. So, yeah, my setup's pretty simple.
Mhm. Mhm. No, that makes sense for where you are and
Mhm.
yeah,
What you're doing, yeah.
what you're doing, yeah.
And it's li in
Most
New
oh,
York, you don't have to have a permit as long as you don't have any sticks on the ground. So no tripods, no light
okay.
stands, that sort of thing. You can kinda
Mhm.
go anywhere with just a camera, but the minute
Okay.
you bring, tripods or stands of any sort or assistance, park police might stop you. It's rare because usually they don't care, but if you have a crew, it's gonna be an issue.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. They're gonna want, like, a permit and all of that.
Yeah.
Most photogenic dog breed, or is that an impossible question?
Oh, it's kind of impossible. Because it really is just they're all different for different reasons.
Mhm.
Um, I'm partial to pitties because I
Okay.
have 2 pitty rescue mixes.
Sure.
They're not full pit, they're actually American Staffordshire Terrier mixes. But I'm actually really partial to pit bulls because they're so misunderstood,
Mhm.
and they're usually just beefy angel nuggets. Like, they're usually just happy and super biddable, just wanna make you happy, here for the treats, derpy, just like, "Huh." Like,
Mm.
that's just the if nobody's looking at the video and you don't know the face I just did for the like, you get it. But pitties are kind of my favorites. I also have a small obsession with Frenchies, even though the existence of a Frenchie is, debatable and ethical breeding and all of that, the short
Yeah,
faces,
yeah.
but they are so funny. They're little clowns. I have
Mhm.
an unexplained obsession with Frenchies. Um, I love all dogs, but I will say oftentimes doodle owners are my least favorite. Not the
Okay.
And the dogs can be a crapshoot. They're either amazing or they're terrible,
Mm.
based on the combination. But that I think comes from the golden retriever in them. Golden retrievers are seen as the best dogs on the planet,
Mhm.
but it's
Mhm.
an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, a golden retriever is going to be the best dog.
Right.
20%, it's going to be the worst dog.
Sure,
Anxious
sure.
and nervy and reactive and whatever. 80% of the time, best dog you're ever gonna see. So when you get a doodle, it's kind of like a crapshoot, and the problem is, especially with the small doodles, the owners who think that because their dog looks like a chicken nugget, everything that their dog does is cute, and they
Mm.
haven't really sought training,
Mhm.
but they're weird about it. And that's
Sure.
terrible to say. I'm, like, there's a lot of doodle hate, and I do love all the dogs, but um, it can be kind of a crapshoot with the personalities behind it.
Sure,
Uh,
sure. No, that makes
um,
sense.
yeah, I like big dogs.
I was gonna say, it sounds like
Yeah.
I feel like you're more of the big
Yeah.
dog.
Least favorite? Oh, this is gonna be controversial. It's like telling people you don't like their child. Gotta be honest, a Chihuahua, not a fan.
Mm.
There have been a few lovely Chihuahuas, but Chihuahuas are the only dog that has bit me.
Oh, okay.
And it was my fault. I should have known better. But yeah, Chihuahuas are like because they're so small, they're just often, like, fighting for their space all the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, Chihuahuas are, like, small, little nervous. It's like it's like just a constant twitch.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chihuahuas, least favorite. People gonna be
This
mad at me.
Yeah. So one last rapid fire. If your business had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh, I know exactly what this theme song would be. It is the, theme song to The Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm,
I love it. I
mhm.
love
That's
it.
exactly what the theme song would be.
So, my last little thing that I do at the end is a photo confession booth. And I
Okay.
feel like you probably, you kind of did confess a little things in the rapid fire there. But so, is there anything like maybe that surprised you during a session or didn't go according to plan that do you want to confess?
The interesting thing is that because the essence of dog photography has a certain element of chaos, there's rarely a plan.
Right. Yes.
It's all kind of like there's a plan, but things happen all of the time.
Mhm.
Um, but I kind of love the outtakes, the weirdness, one of my favorite shots that I've done is a photograph of this boxer mix where the tongue is hanging out the side of his face and he's actually winking. And it's just like
Oh,
the
how
derpiest
adorable.
thing I have seen ever on the planet. And it's like
Mhm.
my favorite thing because
Yes.
it's so not perfect.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Things are always kind of chaotic, but I love the weirdness of it all.
Well,
Mhm.
thank you so much for doing
Yeah,
this, Jen. This was such a great conversation.
I very one-sided. I just kept
No, this was
Ex
yeah.
explaining everything and extolling on all of it, but, no, it was great. I love doing this stuff. I think that, um, it's an interesting niche that I think is underserved, and I think even
Mhm.
portrait photographers, if you added in dog photography, I think it could really elevate and serve your clients,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
well. Yeah,
yeah.
fun.
No, I love it. I love it. Well,
It's
thank
so
you
funny
again.
now, like, how many other types because I don't do anything that doesn't have a dog. I
Sure,
refuse. I do
sure,
anything else because I'm too old, and I
sure.
don't wanna do anything I don't wanna do, but the amount of times I turn down families or weddings or any of the things, I'm like, "You have to be blood for me to even
To do it.
consider it," because
Mhm.
nope. I was, photographing sessions in Boston once, and because I sometimes travel for sessions, and this guy we were on the street, I can't remember the name of it, that has all the crazy brownstone, really expensive
Mm.
Boston houses,
Mhm.
and this guy comes, and he's obviously going to the house that we're photographing in front of,
Oh,
and he was watching me photograph this family with their little doodle, and he's like, "Do you have a card?" And I said, "Well, maybe. Do you have a dog?" And he's like, "No, but I have kids." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I only photograph dogs." And he literally went like this to his house, and I'm like, "Okay, first off, red flag. Secondly, I don't care. I don't care what you have. You don't have a dog. You don't have the one qualifying factor for me to engage further in this conversation." Like,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I turn down everything because I have enough I don't wanna do anything that doesn't make me happy, and I have enough clients to fill that, that purpose of just
Mhm.
photographing dogs because it makes me happy and everything else makes me angry.
Well, and I remember when I stopped doing weddings where
Mhm.
I was like when I would wake up, I mean, even days before a wedding, I would be so anxious and like I just was like,
Why are you
why am I
doing it?
doing that?
Why are we doing anything that doesn't bring us joy? Like,
Mhm.
if you love something, you can build it. I know that
Mhm.
sounds like,
Field of
Field of
Dreams.
Dreams. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I grew up in Iowa. I can reference Field of Dreams at any point. I am 50 years old and grew up in Iowa, therefore I own that. But it's like, if you're passionate about something, you can seek out the people that are passionate about the same thing and
Right.
build a business around it. You don't have to just do everything.
Mhm.
Now, the only caveat to that is if you live in a place where there's not enough of an audience to sustain that, you might have to do more than the one thing that you're in love with,
Mhm.
or try to draw from another area that can help sustain it. But
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
lucky in the New York
Yeah.
of it
Where
all.
you're at. Yeah.
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 Girl, I've got to
This
stop or
was
I'd talk to you all
awesome.
day. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I loved it. I loved it. Thank you
Great.
again so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
If you enjoyed today's conversation with Jen, make sure to head over to Instagram and give her a follow. And then also check out that Facebook group. I'll have all the links in the show notes so you can go ahead and click through. My biggest takeaway from this conversation is that Success isn't one size fits all. Sometimes success looks like growth, bigger studios, and a larger teams. And sometimes success looks like simplifying, finding balance, and building a business that gives you more joy and more life outside of work. Jen's story is such a great reminder that you're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to change your mind, and you're allowed to build a business in a way that works for you. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you would subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another photographer who needs to hear this message. Until next time, keep creating, keep learning, and keep showing up for the stories only you can tell. I'll see you next time on The One Behind the Lens.